Hey guys, how's it going? I kind of pushed myself to get out in the garage today, and I'm glad I did, but after having company and dealing with kidney stones and all that kind of stuff, I was in a frump. So when that happens to me, I kind of have to push myself to get out in the garage and just play with something a little bit on the odd. Not fixing something or somebody's whatever, but just having a little bit of fun. So that's kind of what I did today and came out with. So I'm gonna go take you on that journey and show you what we got going on. This was at I showed a couple of videos back at a yard sale. I picked up a weed whacker motor, John Deere weed whacker, but it was really large, and I believe it is 85 cc's. A nice sized jug on it. The size of that head, it is quite large, you know. It's not a little peeny thing. You compare that to, I believe this motor's 33 cc's. And you see both of them at the same time? There you go, gives you the idea. So anyway, what I liked about that motor is it's basically the size of it, you know. It's a nice output. It's got a nice decal on it. And so I put a bit of gas in this thing, fired it up, it ran and idled just fine. Of course the carburetor was a pile of crap just from sitting, so I popped the carb off. It goes right there. The motor has reed valves in it too. And went down to my local store and grabbed a carb kit for it. It's a diaphragm type carburetor. That's what it looks like. So I know the motor runs, and the carb kit's real cheap for this thing. So I'm gonna get that motor up and running, and it's a motor that idles nice and does all the things that it's supposed to do. It's got a governor on if I want to use it. And the other thing that it has is it has a clutch built into the weed whacker head part of it. So here we go. My idea is I'm probably going to shave this part right off, try to work with the clutch, maybe put a pillar block and some kind of drive and a chain off of this. I was trying to find a bike that I would want to put that on, so I went and I grabbed that Ross Apollo. This is reliving your youth bike for me, and tried to get it on that frame. Of course that frame is very tiny, and wasn't going to happen. Plus I might feel a little guilty about chopping that bike up. You just leave her as is for now. And I dragged this thing out of the back, which is, I don't know, just a, I guess they call it a hybrid kind of cruiser. It's a hybrid between a mountain bike and a 10-speed touring style bike. So this is my victim. I did have a motor on this before. It's one of those little kicker motors that drive off the front tire, but they are quite lame. They move you about 17 miles an hour and that's it. And I always kind of wanted to go do what I want to do now, which is take this motor and try to get it mounted right into here. Of course the drive's on the wrong side, so I'm probably going to go little gear, big gear with a jack shaft, and then again little gear. And this has a split sprocket, so I'm going to have it drive one chain and then the rest of the system being the same. And so that will give me the 5 or 6 gears that this bike has on the back. I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gears. Capacity to shift it. I could still pedal it and use it as a regular bike, but it will not push the pedals, and here's why. This one has the crank on it that turns independently. I got it all screwed up. Flip the kickstand up. There you go. So when the bike's moving, they ratcheted the front sprocket, not the rear one. So what that gives you capacity is you could drive that all you want with the motor, and you can have your feet on the pedals, and the pedals don't even have to turn. If you want to help assist it, you can. So that'll work out nice. Plus, anytime the bike's rolling, you could shift gears. You don't have to be pedaling to shift gears. You can just shift that back derailleur all you want. So that's the thought process. I'm going to do the motor with a jack shaft going down to go drive one of these two. I'm not sure. I got to kind of figure out what my gear ratio is on that. Then from the jack shaft, big sprocket, little sprocket again to the motor, and see if we can get that set up in there and make that bike a good like drivetrain. I really don't care about the bike right now. It's more the thought process of how to get that motor to drive a bike and then have the gears and pedal. So that's what I'm just going to concentrate on now. I really don't care how it looks or anything. And then see where it goes from there. Again, this is just to try to get my mind going a little bit, you know. Sometimes you get slushy. So I'm in that part of, you know what the other part of it was too? I was, kidney stones. They're real painful. They give you a bunch of meds and Percocets and stuff, and you got to kind of stay up on those because when the pain hits you, it's not like you have time to go take the meds. So I was on them for about 4 or 5 days, and I'm kind of coming off of those right now, so to speak. So maybe that's also part of it. So again, enough trying to blame it on something. So I went from there to digging out the motor that was in that red bug. That's what you see here, and just kind of going over a little bit. I'm going to go get it to be a good functioning motor, and I just wanted to give it a once over. So I took it and put it on the tailgate of my truck, drove over by my pressure washer. I washed it all down with tape over the intake. I have the carburetor off of it, and the carburetor is soaking in the bath over there. There's a bunch of bits and pieces that don't need to be soaked right there. I don't know what I have for carb kits. I don't think so. This is your accelerator pump for those, and the puppy's kind of stiff, so I'm gonna have to order a carb kit. I wish there was some place I can go to local that when I need that kind of stuff, but those days have gone by for New Hampshire anyway. So where was I? All right, carb's in the process of getting cleaned. I have a bell housing from a bus bell housings on bolt, so I use that for my starter platform to mount the starter on, and you can crank the motor. Blew all the heebie-jeebies out of it, just kind of give it a look over. It's got electronic ignition in there. It's an 09 distributor. Someone's got a timing gear pulley on it. It's got a oil filter on it with a whatever they are coming off the pump, I guess. And then it's got something funky on the oil pan itself, the oil plug. See that guy right there? You see it? See how it steps down? Talking about that guy right there. The other thing steps down where the oil strainer is. So I'm not quite sure what that is. It's a different filter or whatever. I haven't pulled that off yet. So that's on there. You adjust the valves. It's got some funky valve covers on it, you know, not stock valve covers. It's got a rocker assembly that is not stock in it also, and the name on that is, looks like Autocraft out of California. Read it better on the other side, but I don't know if those are ratio rockers or quite what they are, but high lift. They are also not stock. I'm not sure about what the heads are. They all look clean. There's a 106 on this head. Let's see what that number is. Anybody who knows anything about these, speak up. PW Darren. And then the push rod tubes that are on it too kind of look like these. They're two-piece push rod tubes with the seals and everything on them. I don't know if you can see them. See them? So those are what's on there. Let's see what's on this cylinder head. It says the 93 stamped in it. Whatever number that is. Ends in 375A. 113, 101, 375A is the head number. So I do believe the motor has kind of been worked somewhat. It is, I believe, a 71 is the block. AE, I believe, is 71. So I do know he also had dual Cadrons on it at one point. It was giving him troubles, and he said screw it. He went back to a stock carb and manifold setup, and I believe stock exhaust, which is what's on it. And I believe it also has oversized jugs. Yes, I believe. I did a compression test on it, and you can kind of see that's number 1 cylinder. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Here's what an intake is. Number 1 cylinder, we have 115 pounds. Number 3 has a 105, 123, and 120. Now, sorry, number 1, number 2, 3, 4. The one that says 105 is kind of iffy. I went back, double checked it again, so now it's getting kind of low. Here's one thing I want you guys to always kind of remember: don't always trust your tools, because this is the gauge I'm using. It's a snap-on gauge. It said 105 on that cylinder. I want to show you. I'm going to go just shoot air into it from my compressor. And it says, you can see that. It says like 110, under 110. But if you go to my compressor and you look at the gauge, it's got 120 on there and like 118 on there. So my compressor is at 120, but it's saying 110. Actually, it doesn't even say 110. So that means that any cylinder that says 105 has actually got 115 on it. So that's more than acceptable on this. The spread is not too far apart. There's 15 pounds between the highest and the lowest, I believe. Yeah, 18 pounds. 105, and then you got 123 is the difference on them. So that should be good. I didn't retorque the heads or anything, but I didn't notice any kind of blow-by sounds. And again, I just want to kind of clean it up and get it so it's a good running motor, so I can pop on something and get it to be ready to go in the single cab or the with the 67 right here. But I'm still kind of moving forward with the split. Holy. The single cab, still going forward, getting this ready to go have it put in that. So that should be a good runner for that. Hopefully we're able to get it in on that 6-volt trans setup without too much problems. And I got the carburetor soaking in the soup over here. There you go, a little ultrasonic cleaner. And they weren't terrible, but you could tell old gas sat in them. So they will come back. I'm just gonna kind of finish up the tune up on that motor, and then reassemble the carburetor and get that puppy back together, and we'll do a run on that motor sitting on the bench over there. So that's kind of what I got going on. I got some kind of projects happening finally, you know, just whittling it into the land of motors for a while. I did bring this back out. Guys been asking about the Porsche motor, and put some pressure on, tried wrapping down the center of it. Again, it's still not moving. It's been soaking forever. So I think what I'm going to do is try to make some kind of jaw that comes in on each side of the jug and grabs the fins pretty well. Probably shape it to the fins and make a puller tool and have it push on the center of the piston, and see if I can draw them out. If I have to, I'll put some heat on them and work them that way. So that's what's going on in my little world. Again, guys, thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Take care. Bye.